Hi everybody, it's Christina and thank you for joining me. So today we're going to continue with the parchment theme, and this time we're going to make a split front card and we're going to emboss this to make it really pretty. Now you're going to need the thicker parchment. You can use any embossing folder that you have in your stash, and these are the different size cards. That's a 5x7. That's an A6, and this is an A2, which is an American size, and if you look it's slightly wider but it's not as deep, so it's just a little bit different to our A6. So for the three sizes of card that I've got, I've added a piece of parchment to the folder. Now these are not deep folders and this is thick parchment, so I'm going to risk putting that through the machine without any extra backing on it and hope that it won't split my paper. So there are my three pieces now embossed. They just need trimming down now to fit on my cards, but we've got a fair way to go yet before we get to that stage. That's the Need a Rope folder from Spellbinders. This is the Seedling Nouveau from Couture Creations, and this is the Perfect Roses from Card Making Magic. So let's start with the bigger card first. So the first thing we're going to do is remove most of the front of this. We're going to come down from the fold by about 1 inch, and then once you've done that, this is what you will have. Now with the piece that's left, you're going to divide this into more inch pieces. Now you can make that any depth you want. You can make it 1.5, 2 inches, it's up to you. But I'm going to make mine at 1 inch. And they will go on my card. So I'm going to trim this down now so that this fits in the front of my card. So my card base is a 5x7. So I need my parchment cutting at 5x7, and that's the piece for the front of my card. Now once I've done that, it can always be trimmed again if it needs to be. So now I have my three little panels, my parchment piece and my card. So I'm going to pop the parchment level at the bottom and I'm going to glue it in place along there, but before I do, I'm just going to trim the top off just a little bit more. So again, line it up at the bottom and glue that in place along there. So make sure it's all level, glue that in place. And then to the top of that you're going to add some more glue, and you're going to glue this piece along there. So once you've done that, you're going to repeat the process at the bottom. You're going to add one to the underneath and the other one to the top. Now although this is heavyweight parchment and these are not deep embossing folders, if you look, it has split my card along there. So I'm going to do that again, but this time I'm going to put my piece of parchment in between two pieces of copier paper. So now this time when I've done it, it hasn't split. Perfect. And I have a pattern on my pieces of copier paper that I can use as a background in another card. So there are my three split front cards now ready to be decorated, and they will all stand. But don't throw away the piece that was split, because you can always add this to another piece of card and then add it to the front of another one, and that will make you another design ready to decorate. So now we'll go on and finish, we'll finish these cards off. So now that I have everything stuck in place on my cards, I'm going to dress them in gold and silver. So to dress my cards, I've cut two very thin strips of silver, and they're going to go on there. I've cut some backings to my feathers in Parchment, and I've done 2 the same, and then I've done a solid one that's different, and that's going to sit there. From this little bow die I've cut that twice, and I've decoupaged it to the top, and that's going to sit on there. Now from this bubble die I've cut 2 pieces. Don't throw away the little silver bits that fall out, you're going to need those later. And from this heart I've cut a heart die. And then from my rose flourishes I've cut my leaves. I've cut 3 butterflies, and they're going to be added to my card along here. So I'm going to go off screen now and glue all these in place, and then I'll come back to you and show you what we've done. So there we are with all our pieces added in place, and once your glue is dry you can just go over it with a soft cloth, and that will just bring the shine back into the pieces. So all they need now is some sentiments. Now because these cards are not particularly feminine, they could be sent to male friends or relatives. I've used pre-printed sentiments from Card Making Magic. These are gold and these are silver, and I've added them to some foam pads. I've also added them to another piece of white card that will surround that, and they're going to sit along there. Now that's going to need another piece of foam underneath it because it's a different height to the one that's there. So we'll just cut a little bit off, and we'll add this underneath, take the backings off, and that will just level that out on the card. This one can just sit across the centre of the heart along there, and this one I will add to the bottom of the card, and that says "with love always." So there are my 3 cards now finished, and these are the 2 that I did earlier. So there are my finished cards, and that's another technique using Parchment, and this is the split front technique. They've been dressed in gold and silver, and they have sentiments on the front that will complement the card. I've just used any little die cuts or any little dies that I have in my collection, but you can dress your cards up any way you wish. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please join me on the next one. And why not subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, then you'll always be aware when I add a new video. Join me again tomorrow for another way to use Parchment in your cards. Bye for now.